Taurus Sun and Taurus Rising, welcome here to the 2027 forecast. I'm so glad to see you. Welcome back. Thank you for your support in 2026. And if you're new here, I hope you find something useful. So 2027 looks to be more grounding, more stable than 2026, where we had so much movement in the outer planets. We had Neptune moving into Aries, we had Uranus moving into Gemini, and we had Saturn changing signs also into Aries. Pluto was settling into Aquarius, another recent change. So where do we find ourselves as 27 gets underway? It's more of a quieter, grounding energy. There are no major ingresses this year. And this seems like an opportunity for you, Taurus, to really settle in and make the most of both Saturn and Neptune traveling through your 12th house if you're a Taurus rising, or your 12th solar house if you're a Taurus sun. What does that mean for you, Taurus? It means that you are in a process of finding yourself, coming to yourself, realizing things about yourself, and preparing quietly for April 2028, when Saturn is going to move into your sign and you're going to take on more responsibilities and step out a little bit more. So 2027 still feels like a cocooning phase. You're learning, you're growing, you're moving through life, but you're still preparing for some kind of shift, which will take place in 2028 and begin a whole new 28-year cycle for you. The movement of Saturn always begins a major cycle, and this is regardless of whether it is coming into your ascendant. If you are a Taurus ascendant, you will complete that 28-year cycle and begin anew. Or if you are a Taurus sun with a Taurus birthday, Saturn will come to your sun as it does by conjunction every 28 years, and you will begin that new cycle of identification, of growing, of changing, of stepping up in the world. So 2027 looks to be a culmination of something. Perhaps you're finishing off a job. Perhaps you are finishing off a cycle in the family. Perhaps you are finishing off an internal cycle that you've been working on for a while, and by 2028 you'll be ready to take on something new. Regardless of what you're working on, it looks as if you will be given the time and the opportunity to do so during 2027. Your ruling planet, Venus, is not retrograde at all this year. So you are moving forward step by step. Neptune does remain in your 12th solar house, bringing this yearning for a more spiritual way of being, wanting time alone, wanting time to grow, to have contact with something that is more true to you than simply stepping out, being with friends, and so on. So how to balance that really deep need, because things are picking up for you now. There was a few slow moments in 2026, especially at the beginning. But since around the middle of the year, you've been feeling more in your stride, 2026. And now as 2027 begins, you're right there, balancing the movement forward with the inner processing. Uranus, as you know, has finally left your sign after being there for approximately 7 years. And this happened in the middle of 2026. And now you find yourself with Uranus traveling through a part of your chart that has to do with self-worth and finances, money, resources. The wonderful news is that this energy can be used to bring in new kinds of revenue into your bank account, into your life, using most likely technology. As we are aware, AI is here to stay, and with Uranus traveling through your second solar house, new opportunities can most definitely arise in the realm of either social media, technology, AI, new forms of energy technology, new forms of communication, and so on. Whatever is appropriate to you, please make the adjustment. Astrology is a creative act. It's a creative art. Each of us will experience a transit in a slightly unique way, and we can use the energy once we know what kind of energy is coming in. And with Uranus, the energy can be unstable. So that means that we want to move toward something new and not have something sudden thrust upon us. So I invite you, take a good look this year at your resources, perhaps at your retirement plan, or at your salary, or at your investment account. However you manage money, however humble, however grand, take a look and see if you can innovate. Bring something new in. Be proactive. And innovation is challenging for Taurus because so often you are not comfortable growing. You're not comfortable changing. But once you've done it, you appreciate it. And my sense is that now that you've had this long 7-year visit from Uranus through your sign, you are most likely more open to change. You've had to learn how to go with the flow, which is against your stable earth nature. And you will be open to initiating something new in the finance or resource department. So best of luck with that. The other outer planet, Pluto, is settling into Aquarius. It's been here for a few years now, and it, of course, is still traveling through your solar 10th house. If you're a Taurus sun and you have your chart with you, you can see which house has Aquarius on the cusp, or where 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 degrees of Aquarius falls. Wherever that is in your chart, Pluto is wanting that area of your life to empower. Empowerment is how Pluto works, often very stealthily, very quietly, very much behind the scenes. So if it's work for you, it's time to step up and empower. You have a long visit from Pluto in the 10th solar house. If you are Taurus rising, that's about work, stepping out into the world, your status, your identity. Something needs to be powerful and become more powerful there. And if you're a Taurus sun, the 10th solar house principle still applies for you. It still means that you have Pluto in a square relationship to your sun, asking you to push through some kind of obstacle in order to become empowered. And of course, this will happen at different times for different Taurus people, because this year Pluto will only travel through those early degrees of Aquarius, approximately 4 to 7. And if your sun falls within any of those degrees, or your ascendant falls within any of those degrees in Taurus, you're going to receive that square energy from Pluto, making you step up and try something that may feel daunting, but in the long run, it's going to be very empowering. The other important energies we need to mention, Taurus, are Jupiter and Mars. Jupiter moved into Leo in early July of 2026. So you would have started to have felt its blessings in your fourth house of the home. Something expanding there. Maybe you're doing some work. Maybe you've been clearing out someone else's home. Maybe you're planning to travel or buy a house somewhere else. Maybe you've inherited a house. The fourth house is very much to do with endings and beginnings. Regardless, whatever is going on in the home, that area is going to be super highlighted until June of 2027, because Jupiter will still be in Leo during this time. Mars is doing a similar dance in the sign of Leo, and from mid-2027, when Jupiter moves into Virgo, Mars will also have done a lot of work moving through both Virgo and Leo. Virgo is your house of creativity, your house of children, your house of lovers, where any projects that you give birth to, that you are interested in, that you create. Teaching is often seen in the fifth house. So if you're watching this at the beginning of 2027, I can ask you to reflect on what was taking place between September and December of 2026, when Mars was traveling through Virgo and Leo, and Jupiter was in the sign of Leo. Energy in the home, someone coming into the home, family coming to stay, you'll figure out what's going on. And why it's important is that together with Jupiter's stay in your home for the first 6 months of 2027, Mars is going to retrograde. So it's going to be moving very slowly this year for the first 3 months of the year. When Mars is retrograde, we all feel it. There can be a more inward turning energy, and it may not be a great time to begin brand new projects. So I'm putting this out here now so that if you do have something that you want to launch in 2027, possibly after April 1st is going to be a good time when the retrograde period of Mars is over. Taurus, January 2027 begins for you with your ruling planet Venus in the sign of Scorpio, and she's moving through the last few degrees of the sign, so you might be focused on relationships or some kind of intensive processing. However, it doesn't look as if work is very much on the cards as the year begins, and that's a good sign. Try to take a little bit of time off, because things only really activate for you between the 14th and the 20th. On the 14th, Mercury is going to move into your house of work, and on the 20th, the Sun will move into Aquarius, and this feels like a really good time to begin again. So the new moon in Capricorn on the 7th of the month might be a good time to set intentions for the year. It's in an earth sign, it's in a grounding sign. You resonate deeply with Capricorn, Taurus. So this could be the time when things start to get moving for you slowly. And then on the 14th, they pick up speed. And by the 20th, it looks like you are ready for 2027. There is a full moon on the 22nd of January in Leo. And that's that house of the home that we spoke about in the introduction. That's very much highlighted at this time. So see what's going on, because Mars will be moving into Leo a little bit later on. So whatever area of your life has Leo on the cusp, or it's your home in terms of your solar placement, You want to make sure that there's good energy in the home. Perhaps you're renovating this year. Something's going on. And also take note that throughout January, Mars will be in Virgo. On the 10th, Mars will retrograde. So that means Mars has this slow 3-month process where it appears to move backwards in the sky, and we get that time to turn inwards. At the very end of January, Mercury, our mindset planet, will move into Pisces, and this is a harmonious placement for you, Taurus. You do well with the creative side of Mercury in Pisces. It's also your solar house of friendship. So whether you Taurus sun or rising, looks like there's something that will be coming up as a second theme for 2027 around friendships, around dreams, hopes, ideals. If there's something you've always wanted to do but haven't done so yet, this could be the time where you start to really think about it, because Mercury will go retrograde in Pisces and Aquarius in February. So you're going to have an opportunity to mull over that, and then possibly in March or April to put something into action. April would be preferable after Mars moves direct. February. Highlights for February include the fact that Venus, your ruling planet, will be traveling through Capricorn for most of the month, and this gives you that easy flow. Capricorn is your solar house of travel, of expansion, of higher learning. Maybe you're teaching something, maybe you're learning something new, maybe you're taking a trip. So make the most of that. And it is an exciting month because we have eclipse season beginning, and the 2 eclipses are going to take place in the signs of Aquarius, your house of work, and Virgo, which is a place for you of children, creativity, and romance. So if there's anything that needs clearing out in these houses, you can make a note of that now and prepare in January. The first eclipse is taking place at the new moon, and this is a solar eclipse in Aquarius, so there might be something coming to light at work. It's always a good time to lay low the day before the eclipse, take it easy. There's a lot of energy about at this time. And of course, for you, things like parents could come into the spotlight. Identity, maybe some of you are changing status, who knows, but the general focus is work related. Directly after that eclipse, Uranus moves direct, having been in retrograde motion for a while, and Mercury moves retrograde. So the 8th or the 9th of February are days of adjustment. What does that mean for you, Taurus? It means you've got the Mercury retrograde happening in your house of hopes, dreams, and friends. Time to connect with old friends. Call them up, meet them, do something fantastic. If you've always dreamed of going away for the weekend together, why not do it now? And the Uranus direct movement will be taking place in your house of resources. So it's a great time to just eye those resources, see what's happening. They're going to come more into the spotlight during Gemini season for you. But for now, it's a good time to see what's being activated, because you're going to have Uranus in this house for approximately 7 years, inviting you to do something different with the resource profile, with how you invest your money, something of that nature. So this station of Uranus, which is taking place in February, might be one of the galvanizing points in that direction. After Mercury re-enters your house of work, still in its retrograde motion, around the 18th, there's going to be a lunar eclipse, followed by a full moon at 1 degree of Virgo, 2 degrees of Virgo. So the eclipse is at 1 degree, the full moon is at 2 degrees, but nevertheless, it's early Virgo for you. So again, that Virgo is emphasized this year. Virgo is an earth sign like you. So what are you going to manifest? What are you going to ground? And what is going on internally in those deep places of the soul where we're processing with the Mars retrograde that is now being activated by a full moon lunar eclipse. The final planetary event of note in February will be on the 21st when Mars moves back into Leo. So it's still appearing to move backward, but now it's moving into the house of Leo. So check your charts. Is this the house of your home? See what's happening there, Taurus, and where that energy is going to bring up themes, possibly of things that happened in October of 2026, when Mars was last traveling through Leo. March. The focus for March is the home, work, parallel, what you need to do literally at home compared to what you need to do out in the world, what is demanded of you. No matter what age you are, even if you're out of work and looking for a job, there is always a way to apply the astrology because we're dealing with archetypal energy. So we want to bring it in a creative way to our life. So in March, what do we have that's emphasizing the home and the workplace? First of all, Venus, your ruling planet, is going to move into your workplace at the beginning of March, bringing some good energy there. Venus can favor money, it can favor aesthetic things. So if you work in the design field, something good could come along this way. But likely it's a small blessing, and make the most of this. We only have Venus through our place of work once a year. Shortly after Venus enters there, Mercury will also enter your house of work. So you're going to get that mercurial energy there. At the same time, there's going to be energy in Leo. We know that Mars is traveling retrograde all month through that house of Leo. And with Mars there, we might be finding there's a push-pull between work and home. Someone at home may need us. Maybe they've just returned home, a child, a parent, who knows. But your energy is needed in the home, and at the same time, things are going well at work, and you want to put your energy there. So how do you balance this? The other energy for March is going to be the new moon in Pisces and a full moon in Libra. So the new moon in Pisces is really calling on you, Taurus, to set that dream again, to ground. Always at the beginning of a new moon, we want to set our intentions for the month ahead. And with Pisces, there's an ability to dream. There's an ability to work with the spiritual or the nebulous. So if there is something that you want to focus on for the month, this will be a good time to ground it, but also to release it, because Pisces is a water sign. There's a flow here. So again, something to do with dreams, hopes. Are there hopes that have disappointed you in your life, and maybe it's time to let go of them at this new moon? It can help you, because even though you're beginning something new, usually at this time, Mars is retrograde, and the energy is of turning inwards, turning toward the self. On March 20th, the sun is going to enter into Aries. It's the start of the new year. In the northern hemisphere, we have the spring equinox, and in the southern hemisphere, the autumnal equinox. So what are you really beginning now? And if you don't feel particularly energized at the equinox, this is fine. It's taking place in a quiet house for you. That same house that has Saturn and Neptune there now. So maybe you are going to really have a reflective time. The full moon in Libra on the 22nd of the month, it's at a very early degree, 1 degree of the sign. So a lot could come forward at this time. You could make an announcement, step out, who knows. This area, though, is an area where you like to take care of your health, in particular when there's a full moon in Libra. So maybe something's coming to fruition that you've been working on at this time, but I always like to suggest that you also take your regular checkups now, see what's going on, if there are any adjustments you can make to your diet. Taurus tends to have a slow metabolism, so anything they can do naturally to speed that up can be helpful, including regular exercise, of course. And you know that, Taurus, you feel better when you exercise, even though sometimes it's hard to initiate the process. And the month of March ends with your ruling planet, Venus, moving into Pisces, where she's exalted. That can always bring good creative energy and just a beautifying of your life or your day. Buy yourself some flowers, give flowers to a loved one, and simply enjoy the time when Venus will move through Pisces. A couple of days after that, on the 28th, there's a little bit of an intensive energy where Venus hooks up with Uranus. So bear that in mind. It could be a financial event in your life, something small, something surprising might come your way as March is winding to an end. April. The first week of April calls for a definite adjustment, Taurus. Mars is moving direct, so make sure you're doing your physical exercise and you are moderating your energy. There will be a new moon in Aries on the 6th of the month, followed by Sun conjunct Saturn. What does that mean for us? It means that there's a serious energy that follows this new moon. So maybe you're going to put something into effect which requires responsibility or trust, and go with that, honor that. You're being helped by the planets. A couple of days later, we've got Mercury hooking up with Neptune, and that can make a little bit of a nebulous feeling. Things might seem uncertain or unclear. If so, don't act on them. Even though Mars is direct and you feel, okay, I should be doing something now, it's all happening, you might want to pause a little bit before you truly initiate things. This for you could happen around the 20th of the month, when we've got energy here as the sun shifts into your sign, Taurus. Happy birthday, Taurus. It's a very, very exciting ingress of the sun this year, because at the same time, we've got a full moon in Scorpio happening in your house of relationships. So there's a lot going on, and you need to be mindful of how you're expressing the lunar and the solar principles at this time. There's a third event which I need to mention that happens on the day the sun moves into Taurus, is that Venus moves into Aries. So that's an adjustment for you as well, Taurus. So just make sure that you're moderating your energy and your relationship at this time if you're in one. Two other planetary movements I'd like to mention for April before we move on is the 12th and the 14th. The 12th of April, we're going to have Jupiter move direct in Leo. And Jupiter will have been retrograde all the way since the beginning of January. So I see this as offering a boost for you in your home, family. There's going to be something good or something, funds released or news released, something positive. as Jupiter begins to pick up speed. And remember, with Jupiter, it's never instant. You have to be patient. Sometimes the fruits of a Jupiter transit happen way after Jupiter has left the transit, because the movement is so slow. The other event is on the 14th. Chiron, the centaur, will finally enter Taurus for good. We had a taste of Chiron in Taurus in 2026, then it dipped back into Aries, and now it's entering your sign for good. So if you will receive a visit from Chiron to your Ascendant or your Sun over the next few years, this can be a real blessing. It can help us to find our calling in life and to heal wounds from the past. So I encourage you to do your own research on this and to welcome Chiron into Taurus. May is your birthday month, Taurus, and a lot of good things can come in terms of taking care of resources, something that you're naturally good at. You're known for your good investment prowess. So if you're considering something like that, or your portfolio needs some attention, I suggest going for it and using May as your money month. The month begins with a beautiful new moon in your sign. So this is your time to set your intentions for the entire year, to prepare for your birthday, or if you've just had your birthday, you're still preparing for the year and you're ready to journal, to write down your hopes and your wishes for 2027 and beyond. That new moon is on the 6th of May, and a few days later on the 11th, Mercury is going to enter into Gemini, which is a good, strong place for Mercury, our mindset and communication planet. And for you, Taurus, it's your second solar house, your house of resources. So it's all systems go. Just watch out for any surprises, because a few days later, around the 11th, we're going to have Mercury hook up with maverick planet Uranus. So sometimes there can be a little bit of instability there, and we want to take care, not rush about. Don't schedule appointments one on top of each other. You want to have plenty of time to get from A to Z. And you also want to have plenty of time to review documents or contracts before you sign. May 15th is a positive day for you, Taurus. Your ruling planet Venus is entering your sign where she's at home. So looking forward to a few weeks of really good grounded energy, good cooking, good feasting, and romance can be in the air. There is a focus on relationships now, Taurus, especially because on the 20th, there will be the second full moon in Scorpio, your house of relationships, asking you to look at relationships, to process deeply with a partner, or to process with yourself what's going on, why are you or why are you not in a relationship, and to really have an opportunity to witness that and to get to the bottom of it, being helped by Venus in Taurus. And that could be an intense full moon for you, especially because Venus will square Pluto at this time. So picture it, Venus in Taurus, it's a fixed sign. It's going to square Pluto in Aquarius, another fixed sign, and that can bring about intensity because it's coupled with the full moon. Straight after that, though, you can let go and relax as the sun moves into Gemini the next day, and the energy really shifts. Now we're into the resources, now we're into the finances. And there are a lot of planets now that are moving into your second house. So take note of that. Mars has recently gone back into Virgo, and that means it's going to be squaring all those Gemini planets in your second house of resources. So you want to take note Just see, are things in order? Is there something that needs tending to? And a caution not to overspend at this time. Mars can sometimes have that effect when it's squaring planets in the second house. So we want to make sure that we're not rushing into purchases that are not necessary for us. The 28th of May is another volatile time. We've got a Mars-Uranus action there. We've got Mercury changing signs into the Aries point degree of 0 Cancer. So we just want to take care once again. Don't rush about. Chill and let the planets do their work. They are asking us to slow down and to take it easy. June could be a particularly good month for you, Taurus. I see your self-esteem as being really strong at this time. And there's also this emphasis on the Gemini-Sagittarius polarity with a new moon in Gemini and a full moon in Sagittarius. So you're working on give and take with others, possibly looking at financial transactions, and simply feeling good about things. The new moon in Gemini is early on in the month, and it's highlighting that area of your chart that has to do with money and self-worth. We've also got the Sun there, we've got Uranus there, and Venus is also there. Mercury, the mindset planet, is going to go retrograde for its second retrograde journey of the year in June. So that's in the sign of Cancer. That's your third solar house. It has more to do with ordinary learning, getting around, chores, doing this and that in your local neighborhood. So maybe there's some chores or some tasks that you have to really knuckle down and get to that you've been putting off for a while and that are now coming back to haunt you. This might be what you need to do in June. But generally feeling really good, feeling really positive. The new moon is on the 4th. The Mercury retrograde begins on the 10th. And then around the 14th of June, there's a beautiful aspect that will affect everyone on a global level. A lovely trine between Pluto and Uranus. This is in Gemini and Aquarius, the air signs. So this might figure out for you, Taurus, as a gentle, positive background hum. It's taking place once again in your house of finances and also your house of work. So those are areas that are really coming into the spotlight in June, and you want to be mindful as to what's taking place there. Especially as we mentioned in the introduction, maverick planet Uranus is in that house now. So give it something to do, give it some out-of-the-box activity in the financial realm that it can use its energy for, so that the surprises don't come to you. On the 18th, we have this full moon in Sagittarius. Very beautiful, very inspiring always. You may be traveling, you may be armchair traveling, you may be studying or signing up for a studying course, or a studying course may be coming to fruition, to closure, graduation, or the end of the year for you. And if that's the case, well done. After the full moon in Sagittarius, there's going to be the shift of the solstice. So the solstice may be a special day for you where you honor the earth, you show your care. Taurus, you are so good at maintaining the earth, maintaining the arts, maintaining the financial structures of our world, organizing in a grounded and sensible way. So I hope that you have some kind of ritual on this special day of the solstice, honoring the earth, honoring our sun, and honoring all things that grow on it. And the month ends with a nice sizzling aspect on the 25th. We've got a Venus square Mars, which can be very energizing for you. It's a time to maybe play hooky from work or do something fun. and just break the routine for once in a while. As we begin with July, I'm getting the sense that this video might be long enough. I'm not sure what you think, but perhaps we will end it here for now and do a part 2 where we look at the astrology from July to December of 2027. This gives you a break. It gives me time to regroup, and it allows you to not have one video with so much content in it. Let me know what you think of this new format. I'm always experimenting, and I love to hear your thoughts. Please post me a comment. Let me know how you are, and like and subscribe if you are able to or found something useful here, as it helps me to grow this channel. Wishing you a beautiful first 6 months of 2027, Taurus. Until next time.